Hey everyone, hope everything's going great today for you. Just wanted to do a quick video, relatively quick, of some different magazines for a retro project. What we have here are two ASC 20 round aluminum body magazines, and I refinished one of them to look more like an original Colt 20 round. I'll do a comparison in a little bit, but I'll show you what this was. There you go. There's the ASC from New Britain, Connecticut. Here you go. This is a black, it's a black Teflon coating, so it is a lubricant coating that they put on these for lubricity. And it originally came, right now I've got aluminum followers in it. Best follower that was ever made for a 20 round magazine. And I'll tell you why, but anyway, I'm leaving this one black. But before I get to the one that I actually refinished, and I'll tell you what I used, this is the follower that I took out of the ASC magazine. And you're like, wow, look, it's an anti-tilt follower, right? But this actual, when I push down on the front, anywhere except for the dead center middle, the magazine would nosedive. This would actually go down. And no, you don't have to so much worry about that on a 20 round magazine. But after I got these, this is a Reproduction 20 round follower it's from John Mason. Look up John Mason online. I think it was like under $3 a piece. When I first bought these were $6 a piece like 5 years ago. But for whatever reason, the price dropped. But when you push on the front of these now, you get an even depression. Everything goes down uniform. It's got to be the design of the aluminum. The polymer doesn't give her anything, but it just goes down really nice. And it does not tilt. And of course, what I did to these followers before I call them seasoning the followers, I took a 3M green pad and I green padded all the contact points around it. Green padded this, made it nice and smooth. Then I coated it. They come raw anyway. There's no finish on them. And I coated it with a little CLP and wiped it tight just to put some oil back into it. You could actually probably put a dry moly lube coating on these, which I might experiment with later, but I like the look of the raw aluminum. Anyway, I decided not to paint this one, not paint it, but refinish it because I wanted some to be original black too. Okay, that being said, I'll show you, before I go on, let me back up a little bit. This follower that ASC put in there, look how look like they took a 30 round magazine follower and they literally just like hacked it down. Look at that. They put it like in a bandsaw, and this is what they call acceptable. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. It's not even even. You can see the cut. It's at an angle. That's not even even. It's like someone just like, okay, guys, we're making all these 30 rounders. What are we gonna do? I could see the meeting in the boardroom. Just take some of those other followers and just chop them down so they fit. I mean, they're not even in front to back. I don't know what it was, but they were, every one of them I took out of the ASC 20 rounders were like this. So ASC, your logo. The magazine bodies are great, but you should be ashamed of yourself putting out a follower like that in your magazine. Absolutely terrible. And some people say, oh, they work good. They don't have any problems feeding and this and that. And I'm going to tell you from my own experience, when I first went to the range with an unmodified ASC magazine, the first round that I try to feed into the chamber of my rifle, and it was a 20-inch rifle, no M4 feed ramps, but it's a rifle, and it was designed like that. It jammed. It didn't feed correctly because of this follower. Every shot after was fine, but the first round got hung up on the feed ramps because of this, I'm going to call it a bastardized follower. That being said, from my past experience with aluminum followers in the military, having some of the older Colt 20 rounders, I decided to source out these aftermarket reproductions. And they're slightly different, but they're dimensionally the same. But you'll see, I'll do a side-by-side comparison. Anyway, fast forward, let's put this one aside. And this is one that I completely refinished. And keep in mind, it looked just like this before, same coloring and everything, but I made it look more like a retro Colt 20 round magazine. And here it is. It is an ASC magazine. And I'm going to give them credit where credit is due. The body of the magazine is of excellent quality. It's just the follower is hackery. Why would you go to the trouble of making a good product like this and then put a garbage follower in it like that? I'm sorry. So I had to source out my own followers, okay? Springs were okay too. Once again, these function excellently. Excellent, excellent. When I use these magazines that I worked over with the new follower, like I said, I did spend the time to polish the follower, polish the edges. Like, there's no burrs on it, but, you know, the friction points, you're going around with the green pad, and you buff around it, then you buff anywhere it's going to drag, if you create drag. Because the inside of these magazines have this, from the factory, a lubricant coating on it. It's some kind of a Teflon, it's a black Teflon or whatever. It's inside and out. So what I did is, I have a CRC, it's called CRC Dry Moly Lube. And I got a can of this. I actually sourced it out at my local O'Reilly's automotive store. And I disassembled the magazines and I gave them a coat on the exterior of this CRC Dry Moly Lube. And it literally is almost identical to a Colt original 20 round magazine color. It's awesome. And the good thing is it's not paint. It's a moly lubricant. So this actually acts as a lubricant, making it easier to insert and drop your magazines. It's not going to get stuck up like paint. They're going to wear a little bit, but they're going to serve their purpose as intended originally. Now hold on for 1 second, and I'm going to grab my other Colt 20 rounder and do a comparison side by side. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm sorry, I don't believe this is actually a Colt, but this is a Vietnam-era 20-round magazine. See, it's got the UT on the front. It's got these two holes, whatever they were, the way they manufactured it. Weld marks are different. The magazine bodies, you can see the lines right here are different. This is the modern one. The line goes all the way down. This one stops right here and rounds off. I don't know if that won't stay up, but you can see over here. That's different. There's a rivet on the bottom of this one. On the other side, it's just, you know, modern manufacturing versus the old school one. And of course, this one has the period correct Universal Industries. That's what it was. UI. That's why this is here. The UI. Focus. Okay. UI, Universal Industries. You can see, though, I actually did spray this with some kind of a gray paint at some point. And these don't hang up. But I put a very thin coat of paint, but the way they wear when you use them, it's different. This might actually get stripped down and refinished with the moly lube eventually. But this is an original, period correct, actual original 20 round magazine aluminum follower. And then if I take this one and this one, put them side by side, you can see the differences. Original, reproduction. You see how the bullet shape is thinner. It's more tapered on the one on this side. And this side, it's actually, the body of it is a little fatter on the reproduction, but it's very close. It's very nice, very nicely done. The crimping too on the front of the magazine lips are a little bit different also. The reproduction magazine is a little more far forward. This one's a little more set back. In the rear, on the rear of the magazine, the body, this one goes all the way to the back, where it supports the back of the round, where this one is only partial. There's like a, I don't know, maybe it's a 1/16 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch or whatever it is. I'm not measuring it right now. So it's a little different. On the back side, nearly identical. Hold on, actually, you could see the difference in the top of the lips. Well, this side it's more enclosed, and this side is more open. I would say that this side, the new one's better because this lends itself to stronger feed lips and anti-spreading. Well, this one looks like it could spread. I haven't had any problems with it, but still, it could. But you can see, if you look at the color from here, the color looks great. But this was damn close to the original color. Okay, so now we've covered that right there. And then I've got one more 20-round magazine. This one. This is a waffle magazine. This is a Colt floor plate, but it's not a Colt magazine. It's just a repro. This one, if it was period correct, really should say Armalite, caliber 223, but I don't have that. But this is a steel body. It's a real nice quality magazine. Kudos, Brownells. And I also took out their ridiculous black follower, and I put in another Reproduction John Mason aluminum follower in this. And they feed and function absolutely like silk. They're gorgeous. This is the second of these that I bought from Brownells. These are like $45 a piece. And I think I got it like 15% off. I got the builder's discount. But it's a beautiful magazine. Highly recommend them. Every once in a while they put an order, and I only have 2 of them, I'll get one of these. I said, you know something, I'm going to bite the bullet, no pun intended, and I'm going to buy another one. So we got those. We got a waffle. There's my original Reproduction. Go like this so you can see the followers, because those are nice. And then here's the... There you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then you've got the black one for good measure. So we've got all those. So enough of that. We'll put those ones aside. And we're going to go over to a couple of 30s. Now I'm going to put these side by side. Let's play a little game. Which one's the original? Let me go back a little further so I can cheat. Which ones are the originals or the originals, and which one's the repo that I made up? Let me see. I'll tell you right now, the one in the middle, if you guessed that one, you're right. But you can see how close in color that they are. These ones have more wear on them. They've been used, obviously. But I put chrome silicone nickel springs in all of them. And I put new anti-tilt followers in them. These are beautiful. These originally came with the black followers, which worked most of the time, but let's face it, they were garbage. I think these ones are so old that they had black followers in them. This one and this one right here. I got rid of them. I saved them someplace. But these ones are fantastic. Never had any problem. And I'll tell you something. People can bag on... Some people can still, after 60 years, can bag on the M16 platform, AR platform. But if you have a proper magazine and you have a properly built weapon, there's no better battle rifle in the world. All right, battle rifles are 7.62 by 51 or 308. I get it, but you know what I mean. Absolutely would pick up my 20-inch barreled AR any day of the week. Any one of them. Very low recoil impulse, extremely accurate, versatile, super lightweight, and ultra reliable. What else could you ask for? And may I also add, extremely common, just like the 9mm round. So NATO 9mm and NATO, 5.56 by 4.5mm. That's the way to go, people. Everything else is a want. It's not an actual need. But anyway, it's not an opinion, that's a fact. You have to go for what's going to be there, what's going to be compatible, what's going to be available. You can't get some weird, stay away from the exotic calibers unless you're looking at it just from a, like a collection type of a thing, or you know, a hobby type of a thing. But there's a hobby thing involved, but there's also a practicality thing involved, and you have to kind of think a little prudently and practically about things like that. You know, if you just want to have stuff that you can have for collection purposes, or I call them range toys, that's fine. And I hate to ever refer to any firearm as a toy, but because they're not, they're weapons. Let's face it. But some literally, in my opinion, some of these fancy ones that are non-practical, you know, they're novelties, and that's all there is to it. You know, there's no logistical support. There's no readily availability. There's no magazine or ammunition interchangeability. So it's, in my opinion, they're useless, because once you expend whatever you have, or if it breaks, you're out. You're done. You're out of it. So, number one, I know this is going to the left a little bit. Magazine, ammunition, parts compatibility. That'll keep you up and running. And here's a good picture of the follower. It's funny they put the 5.56 on that side on that one. And this one, it's right there. Let me see, what's this? This one actually, this base plate actually came off of an SA-80 magazine, which was an all-steel magazine. Imperial Defense Services, England. If I can get that to focus. Here you go. Excellent all-steel base plate. Sanchez. That's actually off of a, that's a pre-ban. I'm going to call it pre-ban. That would be, these actually probably came from the 1980s, these particular magazines. And this one is Parsons Precision Products. And then this one's the new manufacturer. There's your cage code. And there's your manufacture date. I think I got these. These ones actually were originally, I got a batch of these. I think I got them like in batches of 10 from Palmetto State Armory. And I forget who makes their magazines, but it's a very well-built quality magazine. Can't complain at all. The USGI spec. It's a USGI contractor. But like I said, I just replaced the base plate. The springs are original, and I replaced... actually, the followers came with these ones right here, because this one right here was from the factory with modern anti-tilt followers. The other ones I had to upgrade to modern standards. But they were in excellent shape, so I did. Anyway, that's a quick comparison. Magazines, the refinish. Once again, the product I use to refinish these is CRC, Dry Moly Lube. And you should be able to pick it up in one of your local hardware stores or automotive stores like a O'Reilly's or AutoZone or who knows what, Auto Palace, I don't know, whatever they call it nowadays. But or you can go online to buy it. But it's going to cost you upwards of $24, $25 for a can of it. And I think it's like a 16-ounce can, but you can refinish a bunch of magazines with it. And the thing is, it's not a paint, it's actually a lubricant. So this is about as close to the mil spec. Was it mil spec? Mil spec, if I could spit that word out. I think it was called a Permasilk G, is what they used to use in the military to refinish magazines if they were going to refinish them. Permasilk G, that was the actual... But that's also a dry film lubricant. But this is the closest thing. And this will clean off with 90% alcohol. But other than that, I'm not sure how it'll stand up to other things. But who cares? It's a lubricant. It's going to do well for the feed, for the extraction of the magazines, for the dropping free of the magazines, for the insertion of the magazines. And it's also going to make them look. Instead of having that, you got that. You got your black. And now you got that. Go from this to that, if you care about such things. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble on about magazines, and I hope some of this information was helpful to you. Thanks for tuning in. And once again, if you want to see more content like this, or you want the sources, John Mason for the aluminum followers. They still have them in stock right now. I bought 8 of them, so I own 8 of these Reproduction followers, and they're all fantastic. Hold on, I'll show you what they look like in the raw when I first get them before I sign out. You ready for this? Here you go. Anybody need some followers? Followers, floor plates, get a plethora. Okay, here they are. There's one of them right here. I got 2 left out of the recent batch that I just bought. And I'm not going to take it out of the package, but you can see they're a little rough when you get them. But this is how you get them individually wrapped in plastic. This sealed. Now the hell with it, I'm going to open it up. Hold on a second. Okay, let me get rid of this mess. Get out of here. Okay. This is the other spare. You pull her. Come on. Get out. Get out of there. Gonna come out? Come on. Really? Okay. Okay, here you go. So, you can see how... Get a good focus. This is what they look like. I call them in the raw. Now, this is where I say you have to be a little, independent. And you have to just you don't take a file to these or anything like that, but you could take a green pad, like a green 3M pad, and all these edges around where the friction points are. Spend a little time and buff them up. Buff them up, okay? Not the back sides, obviously. The sides, where they're going to ride on the magazine wall. The back, what's going to ride in the back of the magazine. Because it's a little like porous almost and gritty. Slightly. And see, there's like edges. You want to kind of soften that a little bit. Just with a green pad. Just soften it. Just, smooth it out. Smooth it out. You can see they did something to them, or they went through some kind of a process. But that's not enough for me. And you have to really put a buffing into it. It's like if you see, if I can go like this. See if I can do this. Stay there. It's kind of hard to tell. You see, do I have another one over here that's better? Okay, this one's a little bit better. Okay, you can see the color's almost different because I buffed that one out and I made it nice and slick so the rounds will feed off of it smoother, and the edges all around are buffed also, so when it moves up and down in the magazine body, it won't be gritty or anything. They move just like silk now. So these are great from John Mason. Just spend some time, do a little buffing on them. They're not burred, but I just don't file them. Green pad, or even like an SOS pad, like a piece of steel wool. Then afterwards, I just take a little CLP and rub it into it. And you can see the aluminum coming off of my fingers right there. And then you can install them and you'll have something nice. So, that's it in a nutshell, people. Thanks again for hanging with me for 24 minutes. And, see that? You get into this is what you have. You have spare parts, and that's just, trust me, that's just the tip of the iceberg, people. Look at all the stuff. You have a little bit of everything. Anyway, thanks for watching. And please, like, subscribe, thumbs up. hit that subscribe and that notification bell, and you'll get more of this information, which really makes the difference when you're trying for authenticity and when you're looking for a finished product. Instead of just taking something like this and doing the old unga bunga and just slapping it in there, you have to spend a little time and you have to refine it. If you're going to go through the trouble of sourcing things like this out, do it right. Don't just install the part. Clean it up well. Deburr it if you have to. You know, smooth it out, install it, and then it's going to work the right way. And you're going to have something you're going to be proud of and you're going to be very happy with, and you're not going to get frustrated because you know it's going to work. And that's all there is to it. This retro thing is not a cheap hobby. I recently started another retro. I know I've done some videos on it, and it's finished now for all intents and purposes. I'll be doing a video on my latest retro-ish. I call it a clone-ish build, M16A1 clone-ish. And it's not, it started off as being like having an extra upper, and now it turned into a whole rifle, so you see how that goes. It's a cycle. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you all for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Once again, please hit that bell, subscribe, like, subscribe, and all that happy stuff. And I will absolutely be back at you with more content very soon. Thanks again for watching. Everybody, have a great rest of your day.